What's going on, everyone? So, this episode is going to be about how I went from the Air Force to getting into Web3 and software, and how coding changed my life for the better. So, when I was in the Air Force, I was security forces, and for those who don't know, that's military police. So, we did typical law enforcement duties, so checking IDs at the gate, riding around base on patrol, working as dispatch at BDOC, which is Base Defense Operations Center. And I did this all for 10 years. And it wasn't my cup of tea at all. It definitely wasn't something I wanted to do for 20 years. It was a high stress environment. Not always, but several times, several instances, especially working as BDOC or as patrolman. You're dealing with real world emergencies, real life scenarios. You're essentially a first responder, so you guys can probably imagine. We dealt with medical emergencies, all kinds of stuff. Anything that has to do with base or anything that's affecting the base personnel and assets. So I knew that this isn't something I wanted to do for the long term, and I tried to retrain and do a different job in the Air Force for many, many years, but I never had any luck. I tried to retrain into cyber, into doing anything IT related in the Air Force, which was my goal for many years, but it was always something different every time. But luckily, I decided to go to school during my time in, and I chose probably and arguably one of the best majors to major in, IT. I didn't know at the time, but as I was looking for majors to major in, I found information technology, and I thought, hey, this sounds cool. I guess I'm gonna go with this. Luckily, come to find out, that was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. I thought long term, or I thought long and hard about it, and figured, okay, with IT, I can probably get a good job outside the military once I do get out. It's a very broad field. There's many different areas I can go into. I didn't know for the longest what I wanted to do yet in IT. I just knew I wanted to be in IT and in the tech space. Now, being a cop in the military, in any branch, in my experience, it's not very stimulating at all. When you're checking IDs at the gate, sure, you can make it fun. You greet people, you check their ID, you scan it with a DBIT scanner, have a little conversation with them, but it's not stimulating. It's very repetitive, very mundane. Sure, the job was very easy in general for the most part. However, I feel like I wasn't reaching my full potential. Deep down, I knew I could be more than this, and I knew I could be better than this. Not saying that I was too good to be a cop, but I just knew I had more knowledge, more passion, and more skill to be more than this. And on top of all that, in security forces, as a cop, you deal with a lot of different kinds of people. You deal with entitled people, intoxicated people, just toxic people in general. It's draining, it can be stressful, and it takes a toll on you mentally and physically over time. One thing I learned about myself while I was in the military is that I much prefer sitting in front of a desk, staring in front of a computer. I always gravitated towards the desk and computer wherever I was posted during my time in the military. So I always knew I much prefer a 9 to 5 rather than 12 to 14 hours a day. Yes, we were working 12 to 14 hours a day. I used to wake up at 3 a.m. every morning just to get to work, be there by 4:30 a.m., work all the way until around 6 p.m. It was long hours. Many days were dreadful, but we all had to do it. And in the back of my mind, I was always interested in crypto, Web3, and blockchain. And when I found out that you can actually code and develop on these blockchain networks, that's what made it even more interesting for me. So I delved deeper into it, I looked more into it, and I realized I wanted to be a blockchain developer. I didn't attend my first blockchain Web3 hackathon until after I got out, but I'm glad I did because it was such an amazing and fun time. But to backtrack a little bit, if I couldn't get into Web3, I knew at a minimum I wanted to be at least a software developer, even in the Web2 space, because that would be me getting my foot in the door. And that's exactly where I am right now, working for the federal government as an application developer. And let me tell you, being a developer is so much more stimulating than being a cop. I'm always learning something new every day. My mind is constantly stimulated. I can literally feel the neural networks in my brain working and moving when I'm coding, because there's always something new to learn. I don't know everything yet. No developer out there knows everything yet. That's why it's a very mentally stimulating job in a good way, at least for me. I don't feel my brain is going numb. I'm not losing brain cells as I was when I was a cop. There's always something new to learn. There's always something new to figure out. There's always a piece of the puzzle to be solved when you're building an app or working or looking at code. I have never felt more job satisfaction ever in my life until now. And ladies and gentlemen, it is an amazing feeling, and I wish each and every one of you to experience this. It is worth it to pursue your dream job. I promise you. No matter how hard it may seem, no matter what it may take, please do not give up. I want you all to experience what I'm experiencing now. So, when I was in the military, yes, I did honestly feel a sense of purpose. I was a defender. I was, military police. I had people and property, assets to protect. I took my job seriously, and I was proud of what I did. However, again, deep down, my heart and soul wasn't in it to be a cop. My heart and soul is in tech. And now I have a newfound purpose, a new drive, because now I'm in tech. I don't ever feel bored anymore because I know there's always something new to learn. The tech space and the IT space is constantly evolving. Computers will forever constantly evolve and will continue to do so for the rest of eternity. And technology will affect pretty much every aspect, every field that's out there, including military, defense, DoD, healthcare, insurance, the energy sector, you name it. The potential and the possibility of what technology can do, how it can improve processes, businesses, you name it. So that's kind of my current mindset right now. And honestly, it feels good to be a developer. It feels good to know that, okay, I've made it. Now, my title is no longer this. My title is now this, as software developer, application developer, web developer, whatever. It has a nice ring to it. You know what I mean? And then people will look at you, or I can use me for example. People probably look at me and say, "Wow, he actually made it." He's doing his dream job. He's a software developer now. He did his time while he was in, but look at him now. And I'm just getting started, guys. I'm just barely scratching the surface. But as I continue to work and to dive deeper, I will get even further. And one day, I know I will reach probably near my full potential, if not my actual full potential. I think what separates me from other veterans, and this is just me generally speaking, is that I have actual passion for this. I've always heard stories, and I still continue to hear stories from this day, of veterans who got out the military, who don't have any sense of purpose, who don't know what they want to do with their lives. And it's honestly, disheartening to hear and see, because I try to encourage everyone, find your passion, find what you are willing to do for the rest of your life, or just find something that you enjoy doing. It doesn't even have to be, anything crazy, but when you find that passion, that's how you find your purpose to continue to keep going. What makes you excited to wake up every day to go do? And I feel bad when I hear people don't really have that, and it's like, I just don't understand how. There's got to be something out there you enjoy doing, right? I don't know, but I guess I've been lucky to have been found my passion, and it just so happens that it's in a good career field and it can make potentially a lot of money. I know some people enjoy video games, they enjoy streaming, which is cool and all, and I know you can potentially make some kind of money off of that too, but I would say this. I would say if you enjoy video games, hey, why not get into trying to make video games, be a video game developer, learn some Unity, some C Sharp, some .NET, make your own video games, make a new app, make the next Flappy Bird, something. Then maybe potentially then you can make the real money. I guess that's this for now. Thanks for listening. Please drop down some comments. Let me know your thoughts. If you have any questions, or please feel free to share your experiences. And stay tuned for the next episode.